Okay,
Mm.
awesome. Okay, great. So we are on live, right? Yes. Okay. Hi everyone. Good evening. Today we have the honor to have Jenny to join us from Singapore, and
Hi,
hi,
everyone.
and Jenny is an amazing coach for parenting. I've known Jenny for almost 2 years, right? A year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half. Yes, almost 2 years.
Yeah,
Mm.
I've been to some of the talks she gave to parents. Is amazing, and her specialty is in conscious parenting. So I
Mhm.
think it will be really great to have this conversation with Jenny. Hopefully, everyone can learn something today.
Thank you. Thank you, Lana, for inviting me to this conversations. I'm a conscious mother and then conscious parenting coach. So yeah, I love to share conscious parenting because I after I had my daughter, I decided to went to pursue a master of education in family education. That was because of like I got the the unconditional motherly love that received from my daughter. So I wanted to share that
Wow.
feeling and experience with the parents. So I pursued the degree. Yeah. And through the journey, I got to know Dr. Shifali Chubari. I'm not sure how many of you know about conscious parenting. Yeah, she wrote a few books. One is The Conscious Parent, one is The Awakened Family. And she has more books like Out of Control. And recently, she has this the Radical Awakening. So yeah, I learned a lot from her. Coming from parenting is not just to a lot of times parenting program right is about intervention, like your child behaves certain way, and then this is the tips, the tools, 1, 2, 3, to follow and kind of like want to control your child behavior. But for conscious parenting, we first look at ourselves, like why do I have this emotion? Where did it trigger me from? So my child is just being him or her, but something in me that has triggered by the behavior. So we'll be curiously, interested to know why about, the source of our emotions that triggered, and really look inside ourselves and live authentically so that we can interact and connect with our children from there. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think I also found similarities. I think it's to me, I think a lot of the wisdom are all connected. For example, like a yoga spirit or yoga wisdom is also about awareness about yourself and being conscious about what is happening or what's going on here over here with us, and everything else or everyone else is just a reflection of what is going on here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, in fact, meditation would be something that I do day to day to really look inside and connect with myself first in the morning, usually. And then, like I'm fully aware that, okay, I'm coming from abundance, from whole, uh, ready to start the day, right? So this will help me to kind of set a good start when I interact with my daughter. If she, couldn't wake up in the morning, but I still have the energy and, knowing that she just today cannot wake up as per what we agreed, right? But then how can I help her to get going and start the day? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That sounds really
Yeah.
great. Interesting. And I think you also mentioned you share with me a very cute story about you started to meditate yourself, and then your daughter comes along with you to meditate, and I think that's really fascinating for me.
Um, okay, meditation is, I think, for children when they were younger, maybe
Mhm.
3, when they are looking at you doing meditation, they'll be curious, like, oh, mommy, what are you doing? Right? Then, oh, let's sit together. It's something that you can start very lively, or just according to like she's interested, let's invite her and sit down together, right? So 3 years old, you don't expect her to sit with you like for an hour. It's 5 minutes. If she wants to move on, right, it's fine, but you can continue your practice. However, as they grow, I do feel that meditation is very important. I can see that, I hope and wish that she can have this practice as well. But she's not someone that who can meditate like how I did or how I do every day, right? So then I just let her know that she just reserve every day 10 minutes to be with herself. So that can be just sit down doing nothing, or sometimes you feel tired, she want to lie down. Yeah, that's fine. So to start with those kind of like, loose, and so that she can accept it, right? Easy to do. Then it's easier to build out the habit. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard so many great things about what you shared, that I heard you actually lead by example. You start to meditate and she watched and she comes along, right? So I think I hear that. Another, I also heard a really great point is you are accepting, you have such a big space for her. She doesn't have to be a certain way to meditate. She can relax, she can lay down, she can just spend that time, do nothing. That's give her a lot of freedom. So I think that's a really powerful way for like cultivating a new habit for kids. They need some freedom to start with. So that's really great.
Yeah, and it could start be like something that she initiated, or later part. Actually, we have timetable for everyday schedule, daily routine. So it could be like once a week or a few times a week. Yeah, yeah. Even though in my heart I would like her to do it every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is really awesome. And for whoever in the audience or watching the TV, Jenny has a really cute daughter. And if you're curious about, I think you created a serious conversation with your daughter, right? So it's really, really
Yes.
cute. It's on YouTube. If you are interested, we'll put a link in our description in the future, and you can check it out. It's I think is a great way to start a conversation between mom and daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. Those conversation, right? In fact, I learned a lot from her. Like she's pretty aware that when times like how Singapore education system, right? It could be quite packed in terms of homeworks. She doesn't go to tuition centers, so that free her up for some like me time. So in terms of the schedule, it can be quite tight. So at times she couldn't like concentrate and do her homework. I through the conversation that you mentioned, right? One of the episode, if I may use episode, is about how she has aware that okay, I'm now really restless. What can I do? Her favorite thing, she shared, she will go and get ice, just put in the mouth so that she can feel refreshed, or she will eat
Ooh.
some candies. Yeah, so to kind of like okay, now I'm aware, I'm restless. How else can I bring myself back to this where I need to be? Yeah. So she will have some tips to share.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so I know Jenny could have so many topics you could share. Like when I think about what we can focus today, there are so many topics in my head. I was thinking about Jenny could be a great person to share the education or parenting between Western and Eastern wisdom, like two different worlds and how to combine them together. I also think Jenny has been coach with parents, like what are some tips you could give, like, and you are such an amazing mom. So there are so many topics we can talk about, but the one thing I'm really curious about, and which is also our focus of today, is dealing with anger. I think a lot of parents are struggling with um, dealing with anger of themselves as an emotion, and also when my kids or children they throw a tantrum, or they are out of they are so in their emotions. How can I support them? So maybe I think you could share some of your experience or expertise in this topic.
Yeah, sure. So wearing two hats, right? One is a mom, one is a coach. Let's start with the as a mom, right? So what would I usually do when we have a situation like she has some emotion, be it anger or sadness, right? So usually I will first check in with myself. Where am I? Like am I physically tired? Am I emotionally drained? Right? To be aware so that when we go into the interaction, I know where I am, and I know maybe if I am very tired and emotionally drained, my trigger level can be very low, right? So she can easily trigger me just like within seconds. So if I'm aware of that, I own that, right? Own that, and then go into supporting her. Then I will see what's her needs. I'll give that example later. I will see what her needs is beyond that behavior that she's displaying, right? And sometimes it's not easy because when we have a lot of judgment in our head about there she go again, right? Then you will kind of like lose the opportunity to connect with her. But what about open-minded, right? So yes, I'm tired. I acknowledge that, but let's see what she needs from me, right? So without judging, and after that, and we can kind of support her like by listening to her. So we can choose our role. We sometimes depends on her needs, right? You can be like a coach to support her in terms of like, oh, maybe you want to look at this way or that way. Depends on her emotion that time, right? Angry, maybe that's not the right time. So if she angry, you just sit there and listen to her. I mean, my daughter 11 years old, so I'll just listen to her, and then or just be there saying nothing. Okay, then after that we will talk it out when there's a calmer time, and that's all, right? At times during the conversation after we can the emotion, the anger is over, right? We will sit down and talk about it and what can she do differently next time. If what depends on what bothering her, right? So there is one incident, the example as a conscious mom. So one night, the usual time, we'll go to the routine. We'll have a little night conversation before she go to sleep. And then this particular night, she just cannot sleep. She was like cover herself with the blanket. And then I was like anxious because it's 11, right? So I can see that, checking with myself, right? I can see that, okay, right now I'm a little bit angry because she's not sleeping at 11 and she needs to wake up 6:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So that's the version one thought, right? Okay, second is that what happened? I want to know more so that I know how to support her. And then she said, Mommy, just now the YouTube, there is an advertisement about the calcium. I think it's the lacking of calcium. They're selling some products, right? She can see the bones with holes, a lot of holes. That makes her like, ugh. And that image keep disturbing her in the mind. So she's aware of that, and she said that reminds her of her first tooth that dropped, and she see through her through, and there's a hole in there. So she's like, I cannot sleep. So she was like trying to make herself sleep, but she just couldn't. Then I was like, oh, that's the reason. It's still the two version of me, right? Because I'm an observer of my own. Because of meditation, that allows me to to be the observer of my own state, right? So then I was like, wow, that is just, why do you have to be afraid of, or things like that? That is one version of me. And the other one, so yeah, I can see she's very anxious. Her muscle is tight, and she's trying to cover herself and things like that. So I was like, okay, I decided to choose the version 2 and take action, right? So then how can I help her? So I say, okay, you know what, Ellie, last time when you were younger, you have plenty of story about how you overcome your fear. Mm-hmm. So I bring in some stories about how she overcome her fear in the past. So she was listening from different times, right? And then she was like, okay, Mommy, I think I know what I needed from you. Can you stroke my back so that I So then I was like, oh, okay, that's what you need. Okay. So I stroke her back slowly, and then she feels relief. And then she said, wow, mommy, being the first time mother, right? You can do this. You're so, well done. Then I was like, oh, okay, thank you for your acknowledgement. And then she just go to sleep after that. So that is more of like notice my anger or anxiety in like she's not sleeping on time. But at the same time, she's facing fear, right? So then, because I'm able to own my own emotion without, pouring my emotion to her, then she can just take care of her own emotion, right? Then she even can like just calm down and retrieve whatever resources she thinks that can support herself. If she need help from others, which is me, then she can ask, right? So that is so important in terms of like notice your emotion, own it, and then so that we don't spill over to our children, and then they can do whatever they can communicate with us like whatever they need and request for help. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was something that I learned from her. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's really cute and a cute story. And there's so many great points. So if you are sitting in front of the YouTube channel, you can just take notes. The first one, I just hope everyone to go through the points together one more time. So the first point is you are always, whenever like the kids get angry or upset, you first thing first is you become aware of yourself. Where are you at?
Yes.
Emotionally, or your energy level, just get a sense of
Physically.
where you are at first. And then second one I hear is being curious, being really open and curious to get to know what is happening with her. Like in your case is you're not so anxious, but you are just curious, and you kind of anxious, but you didn't let it take you and occupied yourself entirely. You're just being curious, and so you get to know what's happening, what is exactly happening over there with her. And I think that you are using a very easy and gentle way to ask her, oh, remember the stories you wrote about. So you can see the fear behind her emotions, and then you ask her, oh, what could be some stories what was the story you wrote about fear before overcoming fear. So it's like directing her attention to something else, get like and like more, or a positive way, or like a more powerful space. And I think what is really great is she knows to make a request. She knows how to communicate and ask you for what she needs. I think that is one it could be one barrier for some kids, that they first of all may not be aware of what they actually need in those moments, and also even they kind of know, there might be some barrier for him or her or they to actually communicate that. So in your family, how did you cultivate that type of awareness and communication? Oh, maybe you can share a little more with everyone.
Yeah. So with that, let's take a look deeper, right? So what happened at that particular moment is that because I was owning my own emotion, so she just need to take care of her own emotion. So that create a space, like a safe space in a way that she do not need to fear I will be angry with her because she has not slept at 11, right? So that is one. So she feel that safe, mommy is here, but she's not blaming me for not sleeping, right? So that's one. Second, of course, it is built over time. It's really to label her own emotion. I guess inside her voice, or how. Okay, pause that a bit. Like I also want to elaborate a bit in terms of self-talk. How the parents or the teachers or the voices around the child, in fact, becomes their own voice, the self-talk. If they have positive voice outside talking to them day to day, when they have their own self-talk moment, they will tend to be talking to themselves positively. right? But if they are listening every time that, oh, you have not done this, you are not doing this good enough, da da da. So that is coming from lack, and so their internal self-talk would tend to be more negative. They was like, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't think I can do this, da da da, right? So then come back to this situation. So within her, she knows that she can help herself because of the past voices that I've been giving her, in terms of like whenever she face I don't think I can do, then I will say, are you really sure? Instead of giving them the answer what we think, right? We are using the questions for them to reflect. Oh, really? I cannot do, right? To have that conversation within themselves. So for her, she has that. So she will asking like, what do I need now? So that could be the questions that she has inside. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like another question I had while you were sharing just now. I think the way you share about you become aware of your emotion, or like you check in with yourself, sounds like so easy, so simple. But it might be so challenging for a lot of parents. Oh my God, I know I can do that, but like whenever I get into that situation, it's just so hard to control myself, right? So I think not just other parents, like even myself, when I communicate with my boyfriend, sometimes it's like of course I know I am good. If I'm being calm or supportive, it will be having a great conversation. But there are moments I just not. I just I just get so angry.
Yeah.
So how did you build that awareness? And how that's just so quickly, and I think that could be.
I hear you. Yeah, it's not easy. In fact, I'm not sure whether anyone caught it. I got to found out about conscious parenting and start learning from Dr. Shifali. It was 2016. So I started my journey of for her, conscious parenting actually integrated 3 parts into a parenting method, right? So the first part is that she is a clinical psychology, so she used Western psychology in terms of understanding the children's need as well as the adults. Okay, that's one. And then second, she actually used the Eastern philosophy, Taoism, Lao Tzu, right? So she actually so I took the 2 long year course with her. So every time we will have a meditations, and there will be some Lao Tzu like deconstruct what he meant, right? So so that's that. And that part she integrated as well the Vipassana meditation. So it's to this is not too difficult. It's really to notice your own breath. I think Lan would know better than me in terms of like getting some details. But yeah, so what we were trying to practice every day is really like to notice like your breath, breathing in, breathing out. You can pay attention to here or your chest, right? Do it like 5-10 minutes per day to just observe your thoughts. So your thoughts come and go, right? So I like how Dr. Shifali described it as train. Like it just, so you can decide to jump into the train, or you can just watch them and say goodbye, right? So just be the observer of your thoughts. So that is over time practice, so that when I check in with myself, I'm observing my thoughts, but I can decide which thoughts I want to choose and jump in. Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, I think one of the senior teacher I took a class with, like meditation teacher, he also mentioned that like one way to be enlightened is just to observe your breath. That's it.
Yeah.
If you could do that really well and practice for a long time, but it's one of the hardest way for the practice, but it's a very powerful practice. Like even you just observing your breath 1 or 2 times, or like a couple times a day, it will be beautiful.
Yeah. And that is the practice every day, right? But to apply it, yeah, I think that's where Lan Lan came from in terms of like, oh, when, situation you face and you need to apply that. Be your observer and do catch your emotion and the reaction, right? Emotional reactions that you're going to, is it consciously or unconsciously take the actions? So I thought it's actually once you have practiced it every day, you can see how it comes to in your life from different situations. For example, when I first practiced it, right, I could see like during the meeting at workplace. So I'm observing that, okay, I'm sitting down in this meeting room and I'm with these people, right? And then, oh, this person is talking, right? Last time I used to be like, just listen to the person and then make it mean something else, then and link back about me. Also, is she talking about me? That kind. But after practicing this meditation and observing yourself, right, then I can say, okay, she's just saying what she say. Okay, like I can choose like whether I want to respond to it or not respond to it. So it was quite fun to watch myself. And then, yeah, slowly when go home, dealing with your children or your spouse, then it becomes like, okay, it's the same practice, but then you find it quite fun to watch your own reaction. Like, okay, he's just saying this, what he say, but what do you make him or her mean, right?
Very, very interesting. And actually, I just, there's another question just show up. I think it
Sure.
might be, yeah, I think it might be really interesting for many parents to know, or moms. I think a lot of moms right now, they work, and they, like you said, they are also a mom. So it is kind of, I always say that it's easier to be a teacher than a mom. Well, for me, like I teach kids for an hour, 4 hours, and then whatever it happens, everyone just go home, right? But for mom, like it's yours, it's always there. So whatever happens, right, you cannot just send it to your neighbor. So mom is like 24 hours. Plus, a lot of mom, they're working, and plus there are houseworks, so I think a lot of things are happening in every mom's life. So kudos to all of you. The question I want to ask you is, what do you do, or what kind of practice you have to take care of yourself? Even we practice yoga, meditation, or even we practice awareness, we all have like up and downs in life, right? Situation happens, energy come up and down. So how do you take care of yourself, and in what do you allocate a time every week, or like what's your tips?
Yeah. So having practiced conscious parenting for, I think, 5 years now, I do see that how connected we are within ourselves is very important. And of course, when I say that, it could sound abstract, but I will just give example, right? Before I was a conscious mom, I would try to control my child, every single thing, right? So, and I have an ideal child in my mind, that she has to finish her homework on time. She has to take care of herself, in terms of like, the basic needs, brushing teeth, eat, the meals and all that. She has to clean her table, right? All that. So, before that, this ideal child checklist, I had was unconsciously, there. And then I would make it mean a lot of things, without knowing why do I have that. Then after I become a conscious parent, I know why I had that. So it has to do with my past experience and my childhood. So I was the eldest child in my family. My father had 5 children. So and during the childhood time, I make it mean different things about my parents. So they are just giving love as and do their best to bring us up, right? But because of the interaction, I make it mean that I don't deserve love. Why? Like the eldest, right? I have to take care of my sibling. I have to, help them to do, help them with my best to, do best in their study and things like that. It's a lot of expectation in me being the eldest, and I felt like, so my needs is not important. So everything is about younger brother and younger sisters. Mm-hmm. So I would have that. And back in my mind, blind spot that I don't deserve love was the source of me being stubborn. When I want to do well in school is to prove my father or, get his praise so that he can see me, so that he can hear me and pay attention to me, right? I want his love as well. So looking back as such, it's a healing process that I no longer need love from outside. I no longer need the acknowledgement from my dad, because I released that, and because I love myself first. Loving myself doesn't mean like, it's just to fully accept myself. Like I'm who I am. I'm not the person I wanted to be because I wanted to prove my dad, I can do it, right? So I released that part, which I tried very hard in terms of a career. I tried to like be, very excel in my career and all that, just to get him to acknowledge me. But he never said anything about that. He just commented like, "Oh, you changed job again." So the reason I change job again and again is to like get better, a position in the company so that he will feel proud and things like that. But when I released that, so wow, I feel like a sense of freedom in terms of I don't deserve love, because I no longer had that. So I can authentically first meet myself. Welcome. Oh, the real me is this, right? I know it's a lot of missing information because only we can experience what is the real me. Individually, everyone in front of this video, you are unique and you have your own strength. Do you see that, right? Or are you chasing after something that you can forever chasing and you don't know why, right? So, but now I know who I am. I know that I want to do conscious parenting because I want to spread the word of like, how to first connect with yourself, accept yourself fully, then you can really connect with your children, because then you have the space like, oh, it's not easy. Life is not easy. And how can I support her and give her, her meaning, my child, the space to grow into herself, to have that, that way to connect with herself and, can come from like, okay, it's resilient. I can do this. The positive voices. Yeah. So, long story short, it is not easy, but as long as you start searching inside yourself and acknowledge who you are and who you are not is fine, let go. That let go is long process too. It's a lot of shedding of your wanted to prove. I'm not sure how many of you heard about Donna Winnicott. Is a psychoanalyst. She has this theory about true self and false self. Yeah, check it out. It's about how the child before 8 years old, if to him, if can, but in today's context, maybe not so easy. Let the child be who they are, like, be it, let go of, let them out, let them have the space to let out of their, emotions and all that. After 8 years old, because they are going to school, right, then they have to comply with the society, the rules, the expectation, the social norm. Slowly they will learn, bit by bit, like I have to be socially responsible and all that. That's a bit too ideal, but parents, we are there to support. And in Chinese saying, the first 3 years is very important and things like that. So, yeah. So one sentence, is really to pursue and get to know yourself.
Yeah. So there is one side, I think, give them the freedom, children the freedom to be themselves, and at the other side, even you still want to guide them to establish discipline. Like for example, even before 8, you want children to brush their teeth on time, or like, right, go to sleep, and or you want them to do not drink too much Coca-Cola, like there's so much sugar, is not healthy, or there's still certain discipline you want to establish, or habits you want to establish for your kids. So then what's the balance between give them the freedom, be themselves, or and versus like establishing the habits or discipline or the rules?
Yes, Lan catch the very important point here. So how to strike the balance. Of course, let them to be themselves doesn't mean that is letting go of your responsibility and let them be. No, that's not what we mean. It's just to honor that their uniqueness, their strength, and give them the space to discover and explore, and pick up all the life skills they need in life. But at the side, yes, in terms of day to day, from the basic need to the, the school and high up, right? I'm looking at the Maslow needs pyramid. So those things they still need to put in place, and for not all children can immediately. Wow, I can brush my teeth and all that, right? It is all practice over time, and I think at the end of the day, we need to go higher up in terms of like, my child is not brushing teeth. What creates the anxiety in me? Is it that because she cannot brush her own teeth, or is it because like this is a basic skill and I do need her to learn how to do it so that she can take care of herself, right? If we are focusing on the like brushing teeth and get yourself agitated, I'm inviting you to step out and say, okay, this is the skill she needs to learn. So how can I let her to have the space to pick up the skills? It is a bit like teacher, like we don't spoon feed everything, but we are giving the child a space to learn. So Dr. Shefali has this in one of her book, right? So her child, it's something that related and unrelated at the same time. So it's about brushing teeth as well. So that's her child, I think is about 7, and she wanted her mom to brush her teeth for her one day, like out of the blue. She can brush the teeth herself. So she's like, inside her heart, why do I want to need to brush teeth for you, right? But at the same time, she wants to honor the child's good intention. She said, so the child continued to say, Mommy, I miss those times that, the 4-year-old me, then you were brushing teeth for me. Or the younger one, the age, I'm sure I could probably make some mistake there, but yeah. So then she honor the how the child want to go back to the old times just once a while to say, Mommy, can you brush teeth for me? So she honor the request and do this together to just bring them back to the happy moment that the child missed. You see? So so once a while, the loose part is fine. But then knowing that the child has the space to continue to grow themselves in terms of different areas, different part of their life, right? Be it the taking care, self-care, or be it the schoolwork. Yeah. So I'm not sure whether is there any particular challenges that parents face, right? Sometimes they'll share with Lan. That would be a nice one to, kind of bring them.
The same. Yeah, I think so. What we are going to do is, I think we can. I really, really enjoyed the conversation we had, and I think we can talk probably for a couple hours. But I think what we're going to do for this time is we're going to edit the video, and we will share on Instagram as well, and then maybe in a couple of weeks or 2-3 weeks, we can do another session on Instagram Live. So for whoever or any parents, you have any questions in particular or any situation you want to ask, we can interact with everyone on Instagram Live. How about that?
Sounds fun.
Yeah,
Let's do that. And yeah, at the same time, I can help the parents to kind of make sense out of the relationship that they are having. Yeah. Sometimes it's the relationship with ourselves, right? As earlier I mentioned, right? When I don't feel I'm good enough, or I don't deserve love. The way I communicate with my husband is that any little thing that he maybe just didn't pack the food for me, then I was like, see, I don't deserve love. He's not loving me, right? So that kind of how do we then look inside ourselves and say, I want to slowly heal that. I'm curious about why am I operating in this way. Yeah, that would be a good start to become a conscious human being, not just parent.
Yeah, that would be really awesome. Cool. I learned so much with you from you today. Yeah.
Most welcome. And I love the questions that you ask, because it's all the key points that we need to like kind of pay a bit more attention to make sense out of it. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. I enjoy the conversation as well. And I look forward to have another conversation with you in a couple of weeks.
Sure. Yes, do post the questions in this video as well. We probably can address it during the upcoming ones.
We can also comment back to everyone. So that would be really awesome. Really cool. Awesome. Cool. Thank you, Jenny. And we'll talk again. And bye-bye, everyone. Okay. Have a beautiful night for people in the United States. And good morning for Jenny.
Okay. Yes, it's 9:40. Yeah, morning. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'm going to end the session. Yeah? Okay.